Good morning, children. All right. Think. Always gotta check to make sure. There it is. And let's go live on. There it is. We are live on YouTube. I think we just went live on Twitch. Grab my chats. I am live. Okay. Music levels look okay. Maybe a little loud, but we're booting up here. Get my chat out. And if you're watching this later, go ahead and skip ahead. Skip forward. No need to watch me getting ready, unless you want to listen to the soothing music here. You're listening to Blankets by Harris Keller. Harris Eller, not Keller. But good morning. It is 5:40 a.m. here in the beautiful desert of Arizona. 43 degrees this morning. Oh, my eye's leaking. Interesting. Weird humidity, temperature change stuff. In the morning, I'm always a little stuffy. I'm going with some vanilla bean, vanilla coffee this morning. Don Francisco. Let's get this set up here, just getting situated. If you are new, if you're tuning in to this one and you've missed the first couple of streams, we are working on creating a blog site with, so far it's been with vanilla JavaScript. Where are my streaming settings? All right. I think I'm ready. Is my microphone on? There we go. Okay, it is on. All right. So a little recap. We are. Sorry, I'm touching my face. People often get at me for touching my face, and I can't help myself. It's what I do. Recap. We're working on the World's Worst blog. What do we have so far? All right. So we have our goal is we want the ability. I want to be able to write my blog using Markdown on GitHub. So I want to be able to commit. So I want to use GitHub as like one of the quote unquote data sources for my blog. So I'm going to post my commit stuff to my blog here via command line, GitHub, post it on there, and then the site will load that up and render it for us. So far as doing that pretty well. I'm enjoying it. It's great. We need the ability for users to leave comments. So we have commenting abilities. To leave a comment, you have to be logged in. I need to make this a little bit nicer down here. So we have log in, log out, log in with GitHub, log in with Google, and log in with GitHub are what we have so far. So I just added this yesterday. So you can log in with GitHub like this. Maybe. All right, so logged me in with GitHub. So I'm logged in here. You leave a comment, it will post, add it in there. So my GitHub username is jcollard, or my ID. So what I was gonna add next is I need to give users the ability. One thing I want to do is I want to make it so I don't like how wide it gets. I think I'm gonna make it so the max width is 960 pixels. Let's see if we can do that. I'd gone through and started commenting stuff out here. But I think I can just make a max width on that. Navbar begins. Our content is a container. We're gonna call this, oh, hang on. We'll just make our content like I did here previous. Content, max width 960 pixels. Does that do what I want? I think it does. Yeah. I just like it. I don't know why. But for some reason having it pop out there, but then it should still react nicely as we shrink. No. I'm not sure. Here, let's get rid of that. I like it. See, I like it being a container like that, so it's okay. I'm gonna leave it alone for now. Bootstrap, let's see, bootstrap max width container. So I really just want it. Max width till the break point. Yeah, and I think if I make it, all right, so if we do the smallest one, SM, that means that, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna not worry about it too much right now. We're gonna keep going here. We have functionality things we need to implement first. Oh, let me close my Zoom window there. We have functionality, I want to make these, these links are horrible. I want to add like the Google, login with Google, login with GitHub, like little buttons. And then after you log in, this modal should close. So real quick, on auth. Do we have a, I had to show my code. Again, this is a prototype. Don't yell at me. Don't yell at me too much. The code's pretty bad. I don't think the code itself is bad. It's not organized well. Sort of shoddy. But I am just building a prototype because I don't know what I don't know. But if we're logged in, is there a hide? Let's see what modals. Component. Modal. How do we close a modal with JavaScript? Methods. Toggle, show, hide. I was right. So, yeah. So when we log in now, log in with GitHub. It'll hide my modal. Excellent. That's what I wanted. Easy peasy there. Oh yeah, I wanted to clean up. All right, so I want to make this login mode a little nicer. Login with Google, login with the GitHub. I want to add the like nice little Google button. Or let me just make them buttons first. They'll be better if they're buttons. So in my modal, let me add some comments to my HTML. Comment section begin. Comment. I guess technically the comment section comes all the way down. Div comments. Then this is the post comment section. Begin. End. End. All right. There we go. Didn't actually do anything. Modal. Here we go. Gotta keep my focus. Button style. All right, the style of my button is not style, class. I want to make it a BTN. And what are my options? Because I don't want it to be primary. Although primary is not bad. This needs to be closed button. We'll do this for now. Button. Href is probably not the right thing. I need to make that on click, I think. Button primary. This took a second. There we go. So we got those actually look way better already. I just want to add a little icon to it. And now they don't work because they're hrefs, but what do we do? Is it on click? On click, Google Auth. On click, GitHub Auth. Google Auth. Full test, GitHub Auth. Closes on login, log out, log back in. Okay. Making progress, making progress. I want these to, I think I want them to take up the whole space, the whole width, so I think I can do something there. I've been using a component library called Mudblazer. I've been doing sites in Blazor, and there's something I want called a stack, but I'm not sure what that's called in Bootstrap. It seemed like it might have been just like a grid layout. Columns. Maybe it's called a columns. No, it's not a columns. No, I don't want columns. Let's look at grid. I really just want it top to bottom, take up the whole space. Div class container, div class. Oh, it's just row. It's just row. And I think maybe I can do div class equals row. Each one of these, I just want to take up the whole space. Yeah, that's really all I gotta do. Make it a row. Format. Like this. Format again. Add a little spacing in there. And the spacing, see, if I was using a stack, I could just be like, oh, stack with some spacing in between them. Stacked to horizontal. Using a single set of columns, small and class, you can create a basic grid that starts out stacked and becomes horizontal at the small breakpoints. What are they doing? Oh, it's because those in individual things are divs, I think. So if I were to put this as a div on the inside, it would break nicer. It's because they're buttons and the buttons don't have... No, that's... Well, let's see. Oh, let's do this here. See now. just want some spacing between them. It's a little bit massive there. And to take up the whole space, I could do column, or would it be SM8? That tells it to take up col SM8. But I want it to be centered. Let me see how I want it. I don't want it to take up the entire space. I want it to be centered. Does it tell me how to make it centered? Alright, I gotta step away just for a second. I will be back. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I will be right back. There we go. I am back. Remember to turn off. Remember to have my microphone listening. Sec. I'm getting some instant messages. Turn that off. All right, here we go. So I'm trying to center these nicely. Stacked is what I want. And centered. Those columns are centered on the above panel. Creates 3 equal width viewports using predefined grid class. Centered. Those columns. Oh, so if I did a interesting. If I did a div row, and then if I did a div class equals column small 8, this would centered. Is that what it's trying to say? That does not look centered, but maybe it is. Maybe it is. No. Not centered. Our grid supports container, center, and horizontally pad your content. Use container for response pixels width. There are 12 template columns. That's fine. Gutters with all the same size as gutter classes. What is gutters? Horizontal gutters. Okay, I think maybe that's what I want. Let's try this. Gutter X 5. That's not what I want. Oops, let me misclick there. Gutters GX horizontal gutter width on a row. Let's see what if GX is doing anything. It might not be doing anything on that. It says it's applied here. Ooh. Gutter 5. Is that what I'm just having on the wrong thing? Ooh, that made it. Let's drop this. What am I misunderstanding about gutters? Can be used to control the horizontal gutter widths. Unwanted overflow. I just want these to be... I guess I could add a giant margin. Margin X 8. That did nothing. Margin X 8. Does it not go that high? That's sort of what I want there. And then do margin Y 2. There we go. That's sort of what I want. So we'll add that here. Margin X4, margin Y2. Okay, that's what I want. Now we just want to clean these up a little bit. Let's look at buttons. Buttons. See what we can do. Oops, button. Want them to have a border outline. Unoutline dark. Let's try this and that. There we go. There we go. And then we're gonna add a little icon in there. Button, is it, tell me, images? Remove all background images, color. I think I just gotta add the button in there, or the icon in there inside the button. Let's go do that. Google, so we want a Google and a GitHub icon. So I will go find those. Google icon. Images. Transparent. It's a big ol' one. We'll shrink it down. I guess we should probably use the open a new tab. Actually not, I think that's actually not transparent. I think it actually has that fake transparency in there. Let's see, Google, does Google provide Google login icon? Can we get Google to just give us one? Sign in branding guidelines. Dismiss. Let's download their official files. I feel like I've done this before and I hated it. We got their sign-in assets. I just felt like they looked really bad. But let's see. Extract these. So they ended up like not being uniform with everything else. Vector. Button. All right, let's see. Button light. Normal. Button light normal. Can I open this? Because it's a GIMP. Here we go. Open with GIMP. All right, we're about to find out. Then we can export a small little thing of it. Okay, this doesn't look bad. This looks all right. It opened up in Inkscape as a vector. Short import. That doesn't look bad. Oh, that looks terrible. Why is it so? I guess it's tiny. All right, we're gonna. Jeez, that looks terrible. The vector looks beautiful. Vector graphic looks beautiful. I really just want. I don't want the surrounding. What do I have selected here? Can I ungroup this? Can I get just. Oh no. There we go. Hang on, undo. Control Shift G. Yes, that's what I want. I want just you. That pixel, 3 pixels wide? That's crazy. That's what it's wanting to export as. Let's export this a little bit bigger than that. Let's try 16 by 16. That's pretty close to, or 24. It's pretty big. DPI, let's try that. Let's output to our repository here. Hide my files just for a second. And this is going into GitHub blog site, source, images, Google icon, and export. Okay, now let's see if I just add the Google icon in here, if we'll be okay. So img src equals images, Google icon. Not bad. All right, that looks reasonable. Maybe even a little big. I might want to shrink it down a little, but I'm gonna leave that. And let's go get a GitHub icon. Next, I'm gonna save this real quick. Before I do that, I'm gonna put this in my clip art just to have save as. Gotta find it. Bear with me, just a moment. Just a moment. Clip art. We'll call this Google icon. Okay. Now let's go get a GitHub icon. GitHub icon. Logos and usage. Here we go. Ooh, I like this one. I have always liked this one. The Inverto Cat, that's what they call it. GitHub mark. All right, let's take a look at that. What do they give us? Extract to GitHub mark. Vector version. Oh, I want to open you in import. I open you in Inkscape. Open with. Can Inkscape open this type of file? We'll find out. It's a AI, which I think is like the Adobe Illustrator. That's what it is. Adobe Illustrator. Can we? Doesn't look like it. Looks like it's gonna do something. Can I ungroup this? Oh, look at that. I'm pretty happy. It's let me ungroup things. Keep going. Oh. Just have a nice little vector of it. Saying that, I want to use a small one because that detail is going to be lost, so I think that's probably what I want. So I'm going to export just this guy. We did 24 by 24. Oops, 24, 24. I think I'm okay with that. It's close enough, right? And we'll export that again to our repository. Give me just a second again. I really don't have anything. It's just I think it might just be better. I think it's good practice not to share that. There's nothing to hide from you guys. I just never know. What if someone identifies something strange? I don't know what they would identify. Here we go. Cannot think. GitHub to blog site source root images, and we'll call this GitHub icon. We'll export that, and I'll save this as GitHub icons. Okay. And I'll have a dark mode version when that time comes. Let's add this in here. Button. gsrc equals images GitHub icon. Not bad. Okay. That little login section, little login modal looks nicer now. Can I get it to center on the screen? Also, I probably want to, down here in my comment section, log into comment. Probably want to add a thing. I don't know. There's a couple things I want to do. I think, I don't know. Just doesn't quite, it looks much nicer than it was previously. But it's still a little bit, I don't like how wide it gets. That's driving me nuts. It does sort of stop there, which is nice, but I feel like it stops a little too wide. I really like, let's see. Maybe I shouldn't go to my dashboard here. This is one thing I don't want to share. I like the, let's open up a page that just has some, let's help center. Nope. Let's try and find a good one. Resources. Yeah, here we go. I like the width of this. I like how wide that is. It's not too wide, right? So I feel like the thing that I have right now, is it the same width and I'm just crazy? No, it's definitely a little bit wider. So are they using Bootstrap here? Responsive columns, probably not. Row, and then inside. Yeah, they're not using like a Bootstrap thing. They're just actually each one of these. Select center. Okay. Well, I just want it to be less wide. I don't want to write my do too much custom CSS stuff. I really want to learn Bootstrap. I mean, I've used Bootstrap quite a bit, but I want to understand the library a little bit better. At least Bootstrap 5. I was using Bootstrap 3, I think, the last time I was using it. So things are mostly the same, but there's some differences. But what I was saying is I want to let's get this centered first if I can. So let's look at modal and see if there is vertical. I saw vertical centered. Class modal dialog centered. So do I do modal dialog and modal dialog centered? Question is, what do I put it on? Let's see here. That seems to have worked. All right. Not bad. And then if we have more providers, we just add more here. Those are our providers for now. I don't even know if I need the word log in here, but I want some header to be there like that. So I'm liking that. All right, that's pretty good. Let's do a commit. Git status. Yeah, git commit -m. We're gonna go to work in progress. Cleaned up login modal. There we go. Push that up for anyone who's interested in it. And we're gonna keep on moving. Keep moving forward. Okay, here we are. We're getting pretty close here. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna spend some time now. I really want this to all be, at most, I want it to be less wide at its max. All right, so, but I still want it, when it gets too small, I want it to be responsive. So I tried something and failed, and it didn't work. Was body. what is this? This content. So it's a container, right? So something I tried was setting the overall max width to 960 pixels. And when I did that, it doesn't work because the max width is dynamically changing on us. And it's basically saying, oh, well, max width is always going to be 960. Whereas if we watch this, based on the media size, it's changing my max width. So I think there's just something I got to do in there with, I got to customize it a little bit. And I'm not exactly sure how to do it. But yeah, customize. And I think it's under layout. Let's look at content breakpoints. I think in breakpoints is sort of where it is. And I want to make it so that yeah, they're customizable via Sass. So I think I can make it so that my 992 might be what I want to make my max. Bootstrap primarily uses the following media ranges. But yeah, so this is essential. I want to make it so that way my media ranges are a little different. And it looks like the way you do that is using something like this in Sass. So up until this point, I've been pretty like raw, like pure CSS, pure that. So let's look at, that. And I'm wondering, can I just use, since I'm building this here, I'm using Bootstrap source Sass files. That I think the issue I'm running into is that I'm doing this with raw JavaScript, raw CSS, pure, and so Sass I think is like something that gets compiled or transpiled or something. I've used Sass. I've never taken the time to really understand how Sass works. Let's see. Bootstrap change. Let's see, what am I looking for? Change break points. Oh, of course I'm here. You'll find them in your Sass map in our variables SCSS style sheet. So I don't know that I can just modify that. So I am using the CDN. I didn't download and I didn't install this as like an application, which I think I need to do if I wanted to do it this way. Let's look how to use Sass in HTML. Oh, there's a live Sass compiler. That's interesting. See, that's what I thought. I was pretty sure Sass was sort of something you install, you write, and then it sort of compiles to actual CSS. All right, let's read it. SAS stands for Syntactically Awesome Style Sheets. It's mainly compiled to ordinary CSS. That's what I thought. SAS allows you to do more with CSS, such as create variables, mixins. How to use SAS in your HTML. The following steps allow you to do this. Live SAS compiler extension. Interesting. Well, let's just try something. Let's try something. I'm curious here if I can do, well, that's interesting. I still have like top bar in here. Yeah, I can't do this. This whole, maybe 2 pixels. Yeah, that doesn't do what I want it to do. I didn't think I'd be able to do that. Let me think about this real quick. What happens? I think it's based on, I think I can wrap. What if I did this? Div ID equals content. Okay, this is no longer content. Do a format so I can find the end here. Follow this down to the end. Here. Div, do another format. Excuse me, and then my actual content here. Content, max width 992 pixels. Still did I actually? There we go. Still responsive, but it's slammed over on the left, so let's center that now. So margin left auto, margin right auto. Get that in the center. Okay, not as hard as I thought. I was letting myself make things harder than it needed to be. Oh, I like that. Yeah, so now all I want to do is I want to make my logo, login, and hamburger menu sort of not be in there with that. So I want there to be a margin over there like that. So I think I can do something similar. Around this. So it might make a class so I don't have to repeat myself. Class equals content. Let's make it a class and see if that is useful. I still get the same. I can get rid of that the login button down here in my JavaScript. The modals will automatically show up. All right, I took that out. Can I make my nav menu? So I'm worried that if I put around the whole thing, let's try. I think I need to put it here. Div class equals content. Not on the nav, but on just the content of the nav. Not so much. But I can play around. I got nav and then this thing. Alright, what if, so I think if I put it here on this, the outside of this, I end up with, yeah, that's not what I want. Although there might have been a load issue. No. Yeah. Let's look at, it'd be nice. Container fluid. I think this is the thing that sort of makes it go left to right. Let's take a look here at the top menu, layout. Components navbar. Is there placement? Want the content to be containers. Well, it's not good. You can wrap a nav bar in a container to center it on a page, though. Note that an inner container is still required. Div class equals container. I don't think that's what I really want. Because yeah, it's just like, I think this container, what if I change this to just container? That's what I want. Rather than being a container fluid, I want this to be just a container. That's interesting. Does exactly what I want. I don't quite understand. It doesn't quite do it there, because if I get too wide, and I think I'm okay with that. I had it, okay. Div class equals content. Now does this work the way I wanted? So I wanted it to be responsive. No. No, it does not. Don't quite understand why that piece doesn't work. I think it might be this auto left thing. The centering. It's really interesting to me that that causes to do that. All right, for now, I think I'm happy with the way it resizes. I'm gonna be a little wider, I think is okay-ish there. It's not what I intended. I like that. Okay. This is looking pretty good. Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts, isn't it? Especially if we get, maybe not too nuts. I really want this login to be sort of over here. What if I did content here? The max width doesn't change now. So it looks nice when it's full screen, but when I shrink down, it doesn't resize the way I want it to. Oh boy. What is the deal with that? I'm gonna leave it for now. See if I get my login to show up over there, and then I'm sort of okay with the hamburger menu having the login log out as if it's too small. Can I make the login? I kind of want it to be a login button. So let's make login. Login. We're gonna make this a button. And the class is gonna be onClick. This will be a button. Oops, button. Show login. This is gonna be a button as well. Okay, and let's make it a btn primary. And we can get rid of navlink active, I think. Login. I want to move it over here. Make sure the logout looks okay still. It does. Logout. Fascinating that the logout button doesn't work anymore. Am I getting some console issues? Ah, onClick. Log out. Refresh. Log out. There we go. Probably need something to pop and say you are now logged out. Okay, so I want it to show up on the right. So does the nav bar have anything about placement? But this is a placement. I want the content. Containers. Bootstrap, nav bar, align right. Bootstrap also has a flexbox nav bar and introduces RTL support. Nav right has a logo on the left, in the center, and logo on the right. This is essentially what I want. Yeah. That's interesting. But MR. Okay. Let's take a look at our styling. Well, I don't. Well, that must be open. Okay. Our styling here. So do I need to add it to navbar ML auto? Is that what they're suggesting? Or is it ML auto on this guy, the actual button? ML auto. Margin. Let me make sure I have that selected. Yeah. Margin left auto. Because that is all. The orange is padding. For some reason it has, I see ME auto on this UL class. Okay. The UL class. Margin left auto. Okay, that centered it. Which is interesting. So I'm making some kind of progress here. And let's look at this. This whole container is like that. What is this? Margin, let's look at margin auto important. Oh, it has an M auto in there with it. Oh. Margin left. Maybe auto's not what I want. For some reason it's doing an M auto. If I get rid of this, what do we end up with? What I want, I believe, on this UL, I did a margin left auto. That's what I want, margin left auto. How do I do that in Bootstrap rules? Margin left auto doesn't do it. On my UL, I have an ML auto, which isn't doing anything. Bootstrap. MS auto. Therefore, the margin utilities changed for Bootstrap 5 from ML auto to MS auto. Okay. I don't want MS auto, I want ML auto. Let's look at ML auto margins. Flex item right. MS auto. That's interesting. Because it's centering it. And if we look at the styling here, end up with this like margin auto important, when in fact I want just a margin left. ME, all right. Bootstrap, MS auto, centering. For start and for class with margin left or padding left in LTR, margin right or padding left. Really, really interesting. Because I could do style equals margin left auto, which feels gross, but will work. And then if I'm logged in, I think it's doing the UL element, so I'll be okay. My logout will also populate there. Yeah. That's the only thing I have in my menu, so I almost feel like I should get rid of this squash menu. But I'm probably gonna add some settings. What happens? I don't want a hamburger menu to show up. Navbar toggler. That's this thing. And then if I get rid of this class, that's exactly what I want. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of the hamburger menu. We always have this log in, log out button. And it might make sense to put the display name there. All right, but let me do a commit here. I like this. This is looking good. Better. Good is a strong word. Looking better. Git, add everything. Git, commit. Work in progress. Update top menu with login, log out button. Right, not bad. Okay, so what I want to do next is I want people to be able to specify their display name. So right now the display name is basically when you, whatever service you log in, it's gonna set a display name for you. What I wanna do is if it's the first time you've logged in and you haven't selected a display name, we are going to let you select a display name. And I think there's a little bit of issue with that. So I'm curious if I wanted to make display names unique. All right. If I want to make display names unique in my database, I don't know if I can. Oh, I don't know what indexes are. Support queries that match across multiple fields. Oh, I probably should have been doing something with indices previously. Fascinating. This looked, I didn't see this tab until just this moment. I want to make usernames or names unique. So right now when you log in, your display name becomes whatever is your display name. I would like for this to be unique, and that would be good. Let's read about indexes. Cloud Firebase ensures query performance by requiring an index for every query. The indexes, I don't know, it'd be indices. Indexes required for the most basic queries are automatically created. As you use the test your app, Cloud Store generates error messages that help you create additional indexes required for your app. Okay, let's create an index. And collection ID, this is user data. Fields to index. User ID, that's like sort of what I have. For queries across all collections with the same collection ID. Collection ID. User names. Yeah, display names. Can I use create a new index to delete an index? Indices can take a few minutes to build. I want my display names. Finding a composite index might run your query in your app code to get a link for generating query index. Interesting. Interesting. I want what I really want is in my user data for the display names to be unique. Firestore, field unique field across documents. Possible to define an index with a unique constraint. If not, how is it enforce uniqueness on a document field without using a document? Yes, this is possible using a combination of two collections. Firestore rules and batched writes. It's a simple idea. All right, so we have users, user ID, username. Our index collection will contain the username and the path and value. Index user username value user.id. User, we use a batch write to create both the user document and the index document at the same time. Okay, so it looks like we can do this. Should be cool. For some reason does feel like a lot of work. We could also make it okay, we are going, instead of that, we're just going to add a display name for now. We're going to make it so you can set a display name, then we'll worry about uniqueness later. Or we can be like really, yeah. All right, we're going to do this for now. Someone comes in, they select a display name. Could I do, if I changed user data a little bit, if I changed it a little bit so we had username as the name of a document. You can't have a multiple document ID, so if I did like, oh, that would be gross. Then if you change your username, it'd have to copy everything over. We won't do that. Although we can make, you have to select a display name initially and you can't change it. That's an option. So for example, my document ID might be jcollard. And then if that document exists, we'll do it like an if exists. I'll get an error basically telling me, hey, that document already exists. So this would be the display name, and we limit display names to letters and numbers, no spaces. And then there's another collection inside that's based off the user ID. That might be how I do this to ensure that we have but then looking up, so the other thing is though, in our comments are based off of your real ID, and this would require me to do a weird lookup here. Delete document. Maybe we have display name and then there's like, I think this ID is supposed to be mostly private. We don't want people to know the IDs themselves. I'm not sure. But display name, maybe we make it so you can set your display name to whatever you want within reason, and then have like a number associated with you. Anyway, I'm gonna make it so you can set display name. So when the first time you log in, So we're gonna need another modal for this. Modal, this is our login modal. This is gonna be our settings modal. This will be settings modal. And then in my app, let settings modal equals undefined. We'll hop down here, do the same thing. Settings modal is our settings modal. So we have access to it now. And in the settings modal for now, let's make it so settings modal.show, just so I can see it when the page loads. There we go. And we are gonna make it so user settings, and we'll make it so that there is a, you know, a display name and you can change it. So we are gonna have a button down at the bottom that says update display name. And this will need to do an on-click update display name. And then we'll have a little form to do this. And we probably need this is making me a little nervous. We need some back-end stuff to deal with various things, but display name, we need some like validation that's not on just the front end. We need some back end validation as well. Yeah, but we're gonna add in a text area real quick. So we'll get the nice text area here. We're gonna replace this button. And it's not comment box. This is now display name. Like that. And it actually shouldn't be a text area. I just want it to be a general input. So let's go look at the Bootstrap documentation. Yeah, the HTML has gotten pretty bad. Yeah. So I have someone in the chat, Sukantian. I love how your HTML is barely shorter than your JavaScript. HTML starts getting crazy with stylings and adding Bootstrap and various things. I don't necessarily love it. It's one of those things that just is getting out of control a little bit. But we're gonna keep on pressing forward. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry if I missed your comment there. Let us Bootstrap documentation. We want version 5. Ooh, why is this? All right. Bootstrap, here we go. And we're specifically looking for our forms inputs. We want form control. I just want like a basic input like this. Just a basic input. Take them both. Put that in here like so. And this ID should be display name. This is going to be for display name. Display name. type is text. Placeholder is enter a display name. Enter display nom. There we go. A little annoyed. Display name's all tabbed, the label's all tabbed in there like that. But we have an update display name. For display name class form label. Interesting. Enter display name, and we are gonna have, can I just put a little user settings? Yeah, the first time we log in, they're gonna be prompted there. Why is this slightly in? Oh, it's padding. It's padded. Or has a margin. Let's look at this. Padding 0. Yeah, for some reason it has padding on it. So we'll take that out with the padding 0. There we go. Display name. And the first time they log in, they have to enter display name. Future times, it'll just be there. Although, can I put a value here? Or does it have to be in the value field? I'm assuming, yeah, it's gonna have to be in the value. Value equals, and by default, we should update that to have the user's display name, whatever it currently happens to be. Select a display name, and in our on state change, on auth set display name, this will have to do it here. If doc exists, extract display name. So I haven't done that. Oh, look, I even put a little thing here. Else we do this and we gotta show user settings. What did I call it? Settings modal. Settings modal.show. So if you log in and you do not have a username, it's going to show you the modal and make you update it, ideally. Of course, this doesn't actually update anything yet, but let's test it out. Let's drop myself from this collection here, and now, well, that's no good because I'm automatically showing it here. All right, let's log out. Let's log out. Let's hide it. Let's reload. Okay, after I log in for the first, oh, I'm already in the database. Let me delete myself again from the database. Let's log in. And now it'll pop up. Select a display name, and then you're gonna have to type something in there, and then there'll need to be some validation. And I should really have some validation on the back end as well. So we'll have to add validation to the back end as well to enforce that you can't just put some arbitrary thing in there. All right, but if you already have on auth, if you already have a display name, then we are going to, yeah, if it already exists, we're going to update your user data display name to be const data equals doc snap dot data data dot display name, like this. And then we need to update that in our various locations, which happen to be this one. Document dot get element by ID, display name dot value is equal to user data dot display name. Okay, so now that well, now I gotta get that modal to pop back up. Let's have it pop up. The first time you log in, it sets that, so now it should be set to Joseph C. And there we go, Joseph C. Okay, so we need to add some constraints on the display name itself. A little distracted here, apologize. Just checking an email real quick. And continuing on. All right. So ideally when you click update display name, it's gonna yell at me because there's no function associated with that update display name. So we'll add in a, what I think I want to do is actually give this an ID. Update display name button. My naming, casing and stuff is all over the place. And here I want to add a listener to it. So document dot get element by ID, and I've lost it. The ID happens to be this. Add event listener on click, update display name. Okay. I have a thing, update display name. Update users display name. All right, now we're getting to dangerous. Update display name. Now this is really not what we want. Be nice to have like a user object, and then that user object has some methods on it. So in our refactor, we'll have to do that. Excuse me. So we're gonna have a thing called set users display name. Function set users display name. And so it's gonna check that value, validate it, and give some. We'll do the easy, the like happy path, and we have to do some checking. Excuse me again. All right, so the happy path is we're able to just get that information there. Let's make sure this button is connected. It is. All right, I need just a second. I will be right back. I apologize again. I will be right back. Be right back. All right, we're back. My apologies. Thank you again for your patience. select a display name. The happy path is we just take this value, put it in the database in the correct spot, and we're good to go. What are my rules? My rules, yeah, I can write there. Okay. I can just write to it. So if this is the case, set display name is gonna look something like, where is it? Set doc. Essentially it's gonna look like this. And maybe we don't actually set a value until they've done it, but we'll keep this here for now. And I need to get both of these things. Okay. So the happy path is to do this. Get their UID, and then the display name becomes whatever value happens to be there. So this would be this form ID display name. So it'd be consts element equals document dot get element by ID. New display name dot value. New display name. So this is the happy path. All right, the happy path. I could change this to Captain Coder. Oops. Captain Coder. Update. I didn't get any errors. I don't know if that means anything at all. But, and if we go to our user data here, there I am. I have Captain Coder. If I do it again, Captain Coder again, it updates. Okay, so this is the happy path, but the sad part is we can update it like this, and we have blank display names. We don't want that. So we need to do some validation, and again, it's annoying because I have to validate both front end and back end. So I'm not sure I'm gonna do the back end just yet. I'd love to do it via indexing. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, how I want to do it. Might be a weird, I think I'm going to end up doing a hacky thing. So let's add in a function. Function validate display name name. Okay, so I want it to be some limit, so like at least, so a regular expression, so characters and numbers, no spaces. Yeah, characters, numbers, no spaces, at least 5 characters, and then like a maximum of like 32 characters, something like that. So regular expression. Don't we have like a regular expression validator? Regex builder maybe? Okay, so really my regular expression should be we need at least 3. So A to Z, 0 to 9. Those are the things I want. Okay. And one word, any number, but I need at least 3. Regex at least 3. Well, at least 5. But this would give me the type of thing I want. plus means ones, means 3 occurrences, 3 comma means 4. All right. I think I would remember these things. So I want 5, at least 5. There we go. Letters, numbers. I probably wanted to start with a letter. So I'm going to put that at the start has to be an A to Z, A to Z. Like that. So it has to be a word, starts with a letter, and then at least 4 after. Yeah. So this, the caret, I call this caret, it's probably called something else. This caret indicates it has to start with that. Okay. This is the regular expression I want to use. So how do we do regular expressions in JavaScript? I can never quite remember, but I think you might even be able to just do something like this. Dot match. All right, let's Google it real quick before I just start doing random things. JavaScript match regex. String.match should be name.match this. So if the name does not match this, and really we're going to return name.match. And the reason I'm writing a function here, I could probably just put this directly in. Validate display name, I probably want to do a little bit of extra work where I will it might be the case where I want to modify this later and have it be a little bit more logic where it'll check, oh, well, give you better error messages saying like if the length isn't big enough, that sort of thing. So let us put in here, set username if we cannot validate the display name. We do nothing, but we need to actually like have an error message show up. So validation. Valid feedback, not valid feedback. Validation custom required. Let's look for reg. Oh, they don't have regular expression. Do not require. Constraints in CSS works. We cannot at present apply styles to labels. How it works, support elements. This is, for something that people want to do all the time, this feels more complicated than it, in my mind, more complicated than it should be. I want to be able to just add in a thing. Class invalid feedback that just sort of shows up. All right, here. We'll try adding this here. User display name must be at least 5 characters and may only contain letters and numbers. Okay, and so then ideally there's some way to tell it that it was not valid. Submit form. Okay. So on submit, let's look at submit form. And I have to, all right, do I need to make it a whole form? Yeah. Form. Slightly annoying. What happens if I do a form here? Okay. Let's keep looking here. It's got our form there. Let's look at the JavaScript. Form.class.add was validated. Okay. If event prevent default stop propagation. Fetch the form we want to apply. So needs validation. So we get the form. I can just pull this specific form out as well. I don't have to fetch it by needs validation. So I might just do ID display name form. And what I'm doing is I should be was validated, prevent default. All right, so this should be a type submit. Like that. And I'm not gonna get the button anymore. Instead, I'm gonna look it up by the display name. So down here, display name form, and we're gonna make this a submit, and that's gonna be, it's going to get my form and add a submit listener. We're gonna check, all right, and so this is gonna now have an event associated with it since it was the submit. I guess it always had an event, but I just wasn't doing anything in it. I'm gonna say if it's not valid, prevent default, stop propagation. And then otherwise, we're gonna set to was validated. Let's see. Oh, I hate that. Console.log invalid display name. Console.log display name. New display name. Oh, I have to actually pass in new display name here. This will probably, this might fix it. Okay, invalid display name. Test display name. That works though. What's interesting is I'm not seeing the, now it's not, didn't actually update my display name. I don't need to get this until there. Oh, it's because it's like submitting. Anyway, so I think we always sort of want to prevent. We don't really want to submit. What is this submit form ID? All right, I'm trying to do it the bootstrap way. For each function form, false form. needs validation. Has that. Understand quite. Shouldn't it be? We aren't valid. I feel like these should make the little my error show up. But it doesn't. Which is a little bit strange. I don't quite understand that. What I should say. Test. Display name, invalid display name. Okay, so these are working the way I expect them to. If it's valid, we don't actually need to event.prevent default because I don't want to actually submit. What I don't quite understand is these are not showing up. But it might be needs validation. If I leave this out, looks good. Valid feedback. Did I do something wrong with invalid feedback? It doesn't look like it. Oh, do I need to specify that that specific... I need to somehow say that... I'm not indicating that this particular thing is invalid. Yeah. Which makes sense. So how do I indicate that a specific element was invalid? And I might just do, I think I might just do my own little thing here to indicate, because if I just put required, that's not going to do it. So I know if I put required there, it will show up. Oh no, it doesn't. Interesting. Thought it would, because it's blank. It's really bizarre to me. Do I just have it in the wrong spot? Should it be on? Or invalid. Invalid feedback. Oops. Bootstrap invalid feedback. And I know I need to like specify something, like it's in an input group, class input group, as validation. This is what I'm missing. Input group. And if I were to make it required now, would that do it? No. All right, let's. Do I need to do this? Gosh. Hate that. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna make this, if it's invalid, we're gonna make this, the display on this be visible. ID equals display name feedback. So in our app here, if it's invalid, we're gonna do display name feedback. And either way, we're gonna need a copy of this. I'm gonna leave it here. Display name feedback. And in this case, we're gonna set the style dot display equals block. And if we're successful, we're just gonna empty it out and the class will deal with it. Cannot read property of undefined styles. No value there. There we go. All right, so took the long route. Display must be at least 5 characters. It may only contain letters, numbers. So if I do the captain, should yell at me because I can't have spaces. But if I do captain, coder, no spaces. It's happy, I think, to update it. Yeah. All right, so now if I refresh, Captain Coder's in there. And after I update, I want to have this then. And on success, it's gonna close, and on catch, error, we will console.error.log, console.error could not update display name. Probably have a thing show up here. But here we just are gonna do login, settings modal.hide. So it'll go ahead and hide it. Cannot update display name. Maybe even have an alert. Alerts are ugly, but we'll do an alert just so they at least get some feedback. But now if I update, I'm gonna go ahead and close. Let's test that workflow a little bit. And so I can log out, delete this from the database. I'll log in with my Google. That's interesting. I know why that is though. All right. Update display name. Here we go. Let's delete this first. So what happened is since the page first loaded, all right, there we go. Now we have no display name. Captain Coder. So now we can set our display name. It only validates on the client side. So technically someone could run some JavaScript to be nefarious and put in some, they're allowed to write to this section. Yeah, so I'm curious if in Firestore can I add validation. Firestore add validation. Add validation to document field. Creating an app. I'm not sure how to implement secure schema validation on document creation. Limit who can perform. My concern is that because the client-side nature request, a savvy user could utilize it to set any field map to any value they want. Yeah. Just reverse enter your app and mess up your code. Harm your database. Then yes, it's possible. You should have proper rule set. Talking of updating data. So we can only write. The user can only access his or her. Check this link out and do so. You should always consider malicious users. In both cases, you're writing custom code to ensure the data and valid coding correct. Yeah, I need like the server side validation. Right now, I have client side. Looks kind of like maybe I can't. So you can only his or her data, and even if the user modifies your app, you can harm only their data. Yeah, so I want that's true, but since they're able to set their display name, they're able to set their display name. Validate new data.isString and new data.value. Oh, we might be able to have some checks presence of child attributes. Friends, create and delete. Looking here. Firestore data validation. This first step is to ensure only valid field names are submitted to stop users from storing lots of arbitrary data. That's exactly what I want. Allow create if only has attributes. Okay, so are they doing these as functions though? Those are off to the correct. This is easy, yeah. But this is on the client side, isn't it? Yeah, I might have to use functions for data validation, which I don't want to have to do, and that's disappointing. Data writing conditions for security rules, data validation. Many apps store access control as fields on documents, field store rules. Can I force? Based on document data. Okay. Allow the user to read data if the document has a visibility field set to public. Okay. That's interesting. Can I make it so they can only write? When writing, you may want to compare incoming data to existing data. The request variable contains the future state for update operation that only modifies a subset of the document data. So allow, yeah. So here we go. This is sort of one, allow update if something. All right, so I can, looks like I can do some something here. The security rules above become right. You may want to wrap sets of conditions and functions that you can reuse across your rule sets. Oh, I can declare functions in here. Okay, I like that. So, I'm feeling better. So we only want, so what I want to do, and I'm coming up on my 2-hour mark. I've been trying to limit, I want to go longer. I've been trying to do 2 hours on this a day, so I don't get too long. But I got some features added, which is good. I added in, yeah, I got to do data validation. I got my sizing sort of how I want it to work. All right, so just recap, got my sizing sort of how I wanted it to work. This did not, I couldn't get my top bar to work exactly how I wanted, but I got it, my content in the middle to look nice. My login modal looks much nicer. And my user, I do have the basic functionality for setting the user's display name if they haven't done so already. I'm gonna clean this up here a little bit, but I think I'm making some solid progress. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. I want to keep going, but I gotta stop. I have a class I have to teach in 2 hours. I do have time to go here, but I do have to teach a class in 2 hours. I have to prep for that a little bit, and I've been trying to stick to 2-hour coding sessions on these. So next time, we're gonna figure out if we can add in data validation rules, which would be beautiful here. It'd be awesome to have data validation rules here. I thought we couldn't do that. So that's exciting. That's really exciting. All right. Until next time, have a beautiful day.